Welcome to Vintage Weights PGH. I have a 100-plus-year-old barbell in front of me here. And in this video, I'm going to give you a little bit of the history of this Milo Triplex Barbell. I'm also going to show you how I managed to open the globes. I don't know how long they were shut, but it took me many attempts and many fails before I got them open. Stick around to learn about this barbell. Alan Calvert, the owner of Milo Barbell, was the first to put out an adjustable weight barbell. Then in 1908, he developed his Milo Triplex system. I call it a system because it had several different pieces of equipment that could interchangeably use the different components. So this was part of that triplex system. This was the barbell, but it could also transform into a kettlebell or into a dumbbell. The triplex barbell has a half that is shot loaded and a half that is plate loaded. When I got this barbell, it was unknown to me whether there were any plates inside of it. Very often, the kettlebells, dumbbells, and barbells are found without the plates included. It's been over 100 years. Who knows what happened to them? However, I knew there was some shot inside of here just by rolling it and hearing the shot inside of it. Now, before we get to the restoration and my attempts to open it, let's just take a closer look at it to see what we're working with. All three iterations of the Milo Triplex Barbell have patent 1908 on them in the casting of the globe. However, they were put out, as I said, in three different iterations: 1908, 1912, and this one, which is 1916. You'll see that this one doesn't have any shot port on the exterior, a place to load the shot. You have to open it up to put the shot inside. That's one way to know that this is one of the later versions. On the end, the way that everything's held together is with this end piece that has two holes in it. My problem with this barbell, and the reason it took me so long to open it, was that previous owners had reversed the end piece and it was just smooth, leaving no way to open it. This particular barbell had been painted, I don't even know how many times over the years, but you can still make out that on the little square portion, the inner portion of the shaft, if you will, it still says Milo. And if I zoom in, you can still make out some of that patent lettering I was talking about around the end of the barbell. If you're fortunate enough to find one of these and the end pieces are facing the correct way, here's a good tip that a collector gave me that another collector gave him. So it's kind of lost to me at this point who came up with this idea. However, if you're watching this and you're the one who came up with it, I salute you. So you need a spanner wrench to open the end of it, but my problem was the spanner wrenches that I had that came with my angle grinders, for example, just didn't fit. It just wasn't the right length between the two posts. So the idea that the collector gave me, that was given to him by a collector, was to take a tool like needle nose pliers or these regular old pliers and use the ends of them to then open the end piece. I learned about most of this stuff from a wonderful book by Reuben called The Evolution of Milo Barbells. It's on the ironhistory.com forum, a great source that I go to quite often to learn about strength history. So head to ironhistory.com, become a member, it's free, and Reuben kindly donated his book to Iron History, and that's where you can see a ton more information than I've provided in this video about Milo barbells. So thank you to Reuben and thank you to Iron History for the wealth of knowledge. I'm truly grateful. Now let's head to the garage and I'll show you how I opened this Milo barbell. Prior to attempting much, it was pretty clear with the thick paint that had been applied over the years on this barbell that I would need to cut around the end piece to try to separate it and get through that paint. For the sake of viewing this process, I've sped up the video, but make sure you take your time. So the first thing that I wanted to do was stand this up and try to apply a product called PB Blaster. PB Blaster had been suggested when I had a stuck barbell a couple years ago. Since you're shooting this chemical out of a can, Make sure you're in a properly ventilated area. I also wore my old school safety glasses and some gloves over my hands. And as you can see right there, I didn't discover the dial that's on the can until afterwards, that you can turn down the flow rate. So right on the can, behind where you press down, there's a little dial. Pay attention to that dial if using PB Blaster. Okay, just a sec. My youngest child wants to play the Fox game, so you'll see that throughout this process, I'll be coming and going, and she'll be helping me at times. After wiping down with a microfiber cloth, I then used a massage gun. This is like a knockoff, cheap product that I bought on Amazon just for recovery purposes. I actually really like it. I'll drop a link in the description. But I thought to use this to try to loosen it up. Instead of tapping this repeatedly with a hammer, I'm just going to tap on it with this massage gun. I was hoping it would be loosened enough with the PB Blaster and by tapping it that maybe if I could just get a purchase on this, I could twist it. So using just some gym chalk, I chalked it up and gave it my best shot. Fail number one. That did not work. It didn't budge one bit. So getting back to my microfiber cloth, I clean it up and it's on to attempt number 2. This idea came from Jokabug, the lazy old faka, my favorite Instagram account, and my good friend out there in Hawaii. So he thought, you know what? Why don't you use something like JB Weld and put 2 pieces of steel, like bending stock, or in this case, some nails, onto it. And if they're fixed on there well enough, then maybe we can twist it. So that's what I'm doing here. It's very easy to use, but normal safety precautions, gloves, glasses, ventilated area, are advisable. So you mix the 2 different tubes together. It's a white and a black color until you mix it together and it turns gray. So then I turned the barbell upright and I did my best to apply these nails. I'm going to use the tape to hold them in place because, as you'll see in just a second, it's a little difficult to get them right where I want them on that end piece. And I want them on either side of the end piece so that hopefully I can use a lever and twist. Hopefully I'll get enough purchase, enough torque to loosen the end cap. So now I'm going to let it sit. You have to give JB Weld a solid 24 hours to really cure and harden. The next day, I came back to the garage, started to peel off the tape, and the first nail came right off with it. That is not a good start. It's looking like this is going to be a fail before I even began. So this is fail number 2. However, this is the point where I started to get a solid idea of what needed to be done. This is when I realized that I needed to just drill some holes into the end cap to try to recreate the holes that were on the other side. My new plan was to drill these holes just the right size to put some steel rods, some bending stock in, to then twist it the way that Jokabug had advised. I'm using a smaller drill bit to basically put a pilot hole in because I really don't want to crack these end caps or damage them too much. I'm not that concerned with the holes that I'm drilling in because this is going to be the inside of the cap.
Just to be safe. Ready?
Now that I'm getting down to business, I'm going to put on some safety glasses. My little helper's here with me, and I'm going to drill the right size hole.
What do you see?
I have a hole drilled on either side of the end cap. I managed not to crack the end cap at all.
You like Daniel Tiger do?
And I'm going to insert the steel rods. And just for the record, I do like Daniel Tiger too.
Okay. Stay there.
I tried just one of the steel rods, the bending stock, to twist it, but that really wasn't getting the job done. So I just tried my hands, and that resulted in bending some of the rods. So really, I had to get something better, and I ended up using the mallet that I had sitting nearby, as well as a wrench eventually. Even though I'm pounding on it with the hammer, even though I'm trying to use the hammer as a lever to twist it, it just isn't budging. It just isn't turning. This is another fail. So I decided that I needed a break. That yes, I should just watch some Daniel Tiger with my child. I'd reattack tomorrow. And how did I reattack? With fire. With another barbell that was stuck, another project I did a while back, a bunch of people suggested using a torch. I've never used a torch before. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little scared, a little intimidated. So instead of buying a torch like at Home Depot at a hardware store, I bought this one off Amazon that's meant for the kitchen, for making like creme brulee. I'll drop a link in the description if you want to buy one. It really wasn't that expensive. So you can see here, I sped up the video, but I applied the torch to the entire end cap area. And this is long after the PB Blaster had been applied. So I just want to note that PB Blaster, I'm pretty sure, is flammable, so be careful. And then, finally, I felt a little bit of movement. The end piece started to twist. It came loose. So much so that finally I could just twist this with my hand. Finally, I'm going to find out what's inside of this 100-year-old globe barbell, this Milo Triplex. Are there any plates inside of here? Here's the other side of the end piece that should have been facing out. Those are the original holes for the spanner wrench. This was such a cool feeling, taking this off. Like, when was the last time this was opened? No weight plates were inside, so that was a little disappointing, but it still didn't take away from the thrill of finally opening this. What I just pointed to there is the piece that opens up the other half, where the shot that you see there has been filled to the brim, I don't even know how many decades ago. At this point, it was just taking care of the rust on the inside that concerned me. So I hit it with a bunch of 3-in-1 oil. I scrubbed it with a wire brush. And then I just applied 3-in-1 to the external portions of the bar as well. Microfiber cloths are worth their weight in gold when it comes to this process. And then, of course, my barbell rescue brush for the bar. I'm confident this is the oldest barbell that a barbell rescue brush has ever been used on. A 1916 Milo. Once I put it all back together, I got it into the gym, and I'm happy to say that this Milo Triplex, after decades of not being used, is back in action. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Make sure you share it with someone, post it to your social media, and bring a little attention and support to VintageWeightsPGH. Thanks so much for watching.